The Nexus Prime Interspecies Academy's physical education complex was a marvel of galactic engineering designed to accommodate the exercise requirements of 43 different species. Instructor Kethvran, a massive titan whose rocky exterior had been shaped by millennia of athletic tradition, surveyed his diverse class with professional satisfaction. "Today, we begin the Galactic Physical Fitness Assessment," he announced, his voice resonating through the complex's specialized atmosphere mix. Each species will demonstrate their physiological capabilities according to established safe parameters. The students arrange themselves according to their environmental needs, Crorians in their four-armed exercise pods, Sekthari adjusting their compound optical sensors for optimal performance, and Flux entities preparing their adaptive containment suits for physical exertion. It was a typical advanced education class, representing some of the galaxy's finest young minds pursuing higher learning, until the door chimed and a human walked in. "Sorry, I'm late," said the newcomer, a young woman with dark hair pulled back in what appeared to be a simple cloth band. "I'm Jessica Chen, exchange student from Earth. They told me to report to physical education." The silence that followed was the kind usually reserved for natural disasters or diplomatic incidents. Jessica looked around the complex with obvious interest, seemingly unaware of the collective intake of breath from 43 different species. She was dressed in what appeared to be primitive cloth garments, no environmental suit, no protective gear, no life support systems of any kind. You're not wearing any safety equipment," observed Velthara, a young Crorian whose forearms were trembling slightly. "The atmospheric mix alone should be toxic to Deathworld physiology." Jessica took a deep breath and smiled. "Feels pretty good, actually. Little thin, maybe, but I grew up in Colorado. This is like breathing at sea level." Instructor Kethvran consulted his datapad frantically. Human students were still rare enough that specific protocols hadn't been established. According to his files, humans required extensive environmental modification and careful monitoring during any physical activity. "Miss Chen," he rumbled, "I'm afraid I don't have the proper safety equipment for your species. Perhaps you should observe today, and we can arrange properly." "Oh, I'm fine," Jessica interrupted cheerfully. "What are we starting with?" She moved toward the exercise equipment with casual confidence, apparently oblivious to the fact that she was breathing an atmosphere that should have rendered her unconscious within minutes and operating under gravitational conditions calibrated for species with significantly different physiological requirements. "We begin with basic cardiovascular assessment," Kethvran nervously. "Each student will complete a measured pace traverse of the obstacle course according to their species' established safety parameters." The obstacle course was an impressive display of galactic cooperation, various terrains, atmospheric conditions, and gravitational fields designed to challenge different physiologies. For most species, completing it within standard time limits represented peak physical conditioning. "Sounds fun," Jessica said, examining the course layout. "What's the record?" "The record is held by Cadet Zorthak of the Warrior Caste," Kethvran replied, gesturing toward a heavily muscled alien whose exoskeleton gleamed with specialized respiratory apparatus. His species evolved for high-intensity combat in extreme conditions. Completing the course in under 4 standard minutes is considered nearly impossible. Jessica nodded thoughtfully. "Mind if I give it a try?" Before anyone could stop her, she approached the starting line and began what could only be described as light stretching. Her movements were fluid and casual, showing none of the extensive preparation rituals that proper athletic performance required. "Miss Chen," Kethvran called out urgently, "you really should wait for proper equipment fitting and medical monitoring." Jessica had already started running. What happened next would be analyzed by xenobiologists for decades. The human student moved through the obstacle course like it was a leisurely afternoon jog. Where other species required specialized climbing equipment to scale the vertical barriers. She simply grabbed handholds and pulled herself up with casual efficiency. Where atmospheric changes caused most students to pause for respiratory adjustment, she seemed completely unaffected. The gravitational variance section, designed to test different species' adaptation to changing environmental conditions, might as well not have existed. Jessica maintained the same easy pace, whether she was running through heavy gravity fields or bounding through low gravity zones. "This is impossible," whispered Thaxalar, a flux student whose adaptive biology allowed him to modify his form for optimal performance. "She's not even breathing hard." By the time Jessica reached the final obstacle, a climbing wall that required most species to use specialized equipment and careful planning, she was still moving with the relaxed efficiency of someone taking a casual walk. She scaled the 30-meter vertical surface using only her hands and feet, her movement so fluid that it looked almost effortless. When she dropped down from the final platform and jogged back to the starting line, the timing display showed a number that caused several students to frantically recalibrate their optical sensors. 2 minutes, 37 seconds. "Did I do okay?" Jessica asked, not even slightly winded. "I feel like I could have gone faster, but I didn't want to show off on my first day." The silence in the physical education complex was profound. Instructor Kethran stared at the timing display as if it had personally insulted his ancestors. You broke the record," he finally managed. "By over a minute, without any equipment, or training, or apparent effort." "Cool," Jessica replied. "What's next?" The second phase of assessment involves strength testing each species, demonstrating their lifting capabilities, using equipment calibrated for their specific physiology. The current record holder was a Titan student whose rocky composition allowed him to deadlift approximately 2.3 tons using proper leverage techniques. Jessica examined the testing equipment with the same casual interest she'd shown the obstacle course. "So I just lift this?" she asked, pointing to the standard testing apparatus. "Miss Chen," Kethran said carefully, "that equipment is calibrated for species with natural armor plating and specialized muscular development. Perhaps we should find something more appropriate for human physiology." Jessica had already positioned herself at the testing station. She grabbed the lifting bar with what appeared to be improper form, took a breath, and casually hoisted 3.2 tons over her head, like she was picking up groceries. "How's this?" she asked, holding the weight steady while engaging in conversation. 3 Crorian students fainted simultaneously. A Sekthari cadet began making rapid calculations on his datapad, apparently trying to determine if the gravity generators were malfunctioning. The flux entities had begun the process of emergency solidification, their species' response to witnessing something that violated their understanding of physics. That's impossible," stammered Vorthek, the previous record holder. "No organic being can generate that much force without mechanical assistance. The biomechanical stresses alone should cause catastrophic tissue failure." Jessica lowered the weight and shrugged. "I work out. Plus, I grew up on a gravity world. This feels pretty light, actually." She looked around at the assembled students with growing concern. "Hey, are you guys okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." Instructor Kethran was consulting his emergency protocols, trying to determine if a student casually violating the known laws of physics constituted a medical emergency or a security threat. "Miss Chen," he finally said, "I think perhaps we should contact the Academy's Xenobiology department, and possibly the Physics department, and definitely the counseling services." "Why?" Jessica asked, genuine confusion in her voice. "Did I do something wrong?" The third and final assessment involved endurance testing, a carefully controlled exercise designed to measure each species' cardiovascular limits under safe, monitored conditions. The current record was held by a synthetic collective student whose mechanical physiology allowed for optimized energy efficiency. Jessica approached the endurance testing station with the same casual confidence she'd shown throughout the class. "So how long do I need to keep going?" she asked. "The maximum testing period is 1 standard hour," Kethran explained weakly. "Most organic beings reach physiological limits within 20 to 30 minutes. "Okay," Jessica said, stepping onto the testing platform. "Should I pace myself, or can I just run normally?" Before anyone could answer, she had begun what appeared to be a casual jog. The monitoring equipment immediately began displaying readings that caused the supervising medical technician to frantically recalibrate his sensors. Jessica's heart rate, breathing, and cellular oxygen consumption remained within what the equipment registered as resting parameters, despite the fact that she was maintaining a pace that would have challenged most species' sprint speeds. After 15 minutes, she was still chatting pleasantly with other students while running. After 30 minutes, she asked if she could increase the difficulty because she was getting bored. After 45 minutes, she was solving homework problems for her advanced quantum mathematics course while maintaining perfect form. When the full hour elapsed, Jessica stepped off the platform, looking like she had just finished a gentle warm-up exercise. "That was nice," she said. "Is there more, or was that it for today?" Instructor Kethran submitted his resignation that afternoon. The Academy's Department of Impossible Student Affairs was established the following week. Jessica Chen's name was quietly added to a growing list of humans whose existence continued to violate everything the galaxy thought it knew about biological possibility. The short video of Jessica casually deadlifting 3.2 tons while asking if anyone wanted to study together later would become the most shared athletic performance recording in galactic history, primarily because it represented visual proof that some species don't just push physical limits, they ignore them entirely. Within a month, human physical education safety protocols would become a mandatory course for all interspecies academy instructors, though most would never quite understand why their carefully designed challenges kept being mistaken for warm-up exercises.